You're on.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Night Speed. This is Matt Johnson with his brother Mark Johnson. Season 4, Game 2 against the North Carolina A&T Aggies.
The
We
Aggies
are,
team. Okay, another Aggies team. All right.
yeah, we're going into this game 1-0. They're coming into it 0-1. They come to us at the Bounce House, and we will be hosting them on the 6th at 7 p.m.
Yeah, it's first ever meeting.
Yes,
If that
and
matters, first ever.
I'm thinking probably the last ever
Maybe the
meeting
first and
also.
last ever meeting. But
Yes, I don't see us playing them again.
right. And we got a little football notes. I should be pretty much on top of all this today. Um, they're 0-1. I guess they lost to I'm not sure.
Tennessee State.
Okay. So I think we played SC State, haven't we?
I don't. If we did, wasn't really memorable.
I think we played them the last couple of years in a game one or
I
two.
get,
So
I get the feeling Tennessee State is
oh
probably a conference rival of theirs.
okay, yeah.
I
Okay.
could be wrong, but I mean they're FCS, right?
Yes.
So with them being FCS, that's a part of college football I don't really follow anymore. Not ever since we've left, so I don't really,
Yeah.
I just don't get into them.
No, I got you. Okay. So we've got game two coming up here.
Game two.
Fire Night Bounce House, September 6th, 7 p.m. Should have decent weather. I haven't really checked the weather lately, but it appears it's something that we should. I'm going to just check real quick. But okay, here we go. Saturday, it looks like it's 65% chance of rain. So, well, I guess we'll find out.
They're
Yeah.
probably gonna get some rain.
Can't be any worse than it was on Thursday.
No, and I think Thursday last week, a week ago, it was probably worst case scenario. What happened?
No, you're right.
Remember a 2 hour rain delay. I don't remember how much long the rain delay was during Boise State. What 4 years ago? I think it was 4 years ago tonight. Actually,
Yeah. Yeah, I
it
was
was
at that
kind of
game
funny.
too, to where
Yeah,
I was pulling up to the house at 2 in the morning
yeah, that was a.
after
But that
that.
was a rain delay that took quite a bit of time to get through.
A
Also,
couple hours.
but as you said,
I
we got
remember we
home.
didn't get started until 9:30.
Yeah,
It was supposed to be started at 7. And I remember going, I guess it's not going to happen. So I walked back to my car across campus
hmm
and turned over, the engine, getting ready to put it in drive. And next thing, Mark Daniels is on going, we're getting ready to kick off. I'm like, oh gosh. So I put it back in park and walked back across campus and got in. And glad I did. And
What
just
would you
like
have
this
done if you'd
game,
been like halfway down the road? Would you have turned around and gone
I
back?
probably would have turned around. Lucky
Yeah.
for me, last time, like this time, I had, just work around the house. I worked from the house on Friday last week, for the vacation.
Yeah.
During the Boise, the same way. It was like I didn't have anything planned for that Friday after. I thought that was a Friday night game anyway. Maybe it was a Thursday
It was
night.
a Thursday night game.
Okay. But so I was like, I'm here for the long haul.
Yeah. But NC A&T, they have I guess they're more of a, I want to say a rushing team than they are a throwing team.
Yeah,
But they threw for barely over 200 yards. And again, this is FCS.
right.
But again, if you look at their stats on the ground, barely 100 yards also. So you don't really, they had 7 guys that actually caught a pass last game, at
All
least
right.
one. But they really got 2 guys, Dillard and Jones. Those are two. Jones caught a touchdown.
Well,
They
this
seem like they're kind of
is
straightforward. And again, this is a team that should not have just they shouldn't match up talent wise with us at all.
well, I was going to say, yeah, that this is one of those things where we should be able to show that we're just, a deeper team than them. This is where our
Yeah,
defensive line really needs to kind of step up, really needs to kind of control that line of scrimmage as well as our offensive line.
Well,
And
if you go back to the Jacksonville State game, we really did well on defensive line, but again, we're having lapses in the linebacker again, which also kind of worried me. It was like, oh no, here we go again. And then again, we had so many penalties that were not just a 5 yard penalty, but again, on the touchdown that we're going in, we had to settle for a field goal. When you got 3rd and 1, makes it a little tougher when it's now 3rd and 6.
right, right,
You
right,
don't get that 6 yards, now you got to look, say, well, we got to bring the field goal team in, to where as opposed to you should be able to punch it in with from 3rd and 1. And then again, if you look at that one last drive that Jacksonville State had, Mark, they had it 4th and 9. I'm sorry, 3rd and 9. We gave them an incomplete pass they threw, but yet we jumped off sides. So now it's 3rd and 4 again. They run 3 yards. They hurry up and we somehow knife through and make a game-saving tackle.
right.
They get that first down. It might be an entirely different game. Because again, we don't go down, we don't score because we're tied at 10-10 at the time.
Yeah, they're late in the
I
game.
know this is old
Especially,
news.
Yeah, we're kind of regressing here, but we made a play, got the ball back, made another play to win the game, and then played really good offense to make another play to shut down the game. So
And I guess here's where I'm going with this: is we have to have that all cleaned up this week. This week that has to be cleaned up. We can't have stupid penalties like that. We can't, get a penalty for roughing the kicker. We give them a possession back. We can't, let them have a fake punt on us. Get that one. There's some things that we did last week that really could have snake bit us, but it didn't.
I agree.
And again, that has to be cleaned up
We
this
moved
week.
on. We got a win. Now under North Carolina A&T. North Carolina A&T is one of those few now only seems like FCS team that we play. And they're coming in at 0-1. We've already said it's a good chance for our team to kind of grow together again.
Yeah,
I think we got guys that are kind of looking around the guy next to him and not really sure what to expect yet. It's all kind of a OJT, on the job training. These guys are kind of learning what each can do out there. Um, it kind of looked like last week was kind of what you would expect in a first game,
yeah,
you know. So I'm not really gonna harp on it. Again, the hardest part about it happened. We won. That's what we needed
yeah.
to do, and we won.
And you think about this week, Mark, these guys have all now played. They played a game together.
Right.
So they've been on the field together. And again, that's what's going to go in our favor against NC, A&T, because not one should we have more talent than they do. Two, we're not a new team that nobody really knows each other. We got 70 new players. We've
Yeah.
actually now all played together. You got guys who have stats, guys who've caught balls, guys who've run the ball, guys who've thrown the ball, people who've made tackles. So we have a game under our belt.
Gotcha. Looking
And
at stats for North Carolina A&T, you got something else you want to say here, real quick?
no, I said I think with that right there, I think we will improve immensely
Yeah.
because,
Let's hope.
well, if we don't, then as you're saying, it's probably going to be a long season.
Looking at stats last week, the quarterback for North Carolina A&T,
Yeah,
Braxton Thomas. Did you say what? 13 attempts, 11 completions. That's pretty good. You know,
yeah.
he had no interceptions. He had
Hit one TD.
yeah, one touchdown, 169 yards passing total, which not great, but not. He had no interceptions, and he completed all passes but two. Um,
But see, I'd like to see the passing chart. Where did he throw these?
well, I
Are
don't
they
have the
are they?
passing chart, so I couldn't tell you. But
That's what I'm saying. Are they dump passes? Are they swing passes? Are they?
the two receivers that got most of the catches, or all the catches actually, was Antone Jones or Amonte Jones. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and he had 91 yards total. Average was 22-yard catch. He had one touchdown. His long catch was 66 yards. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, and the other is Jamison Warren, which he was 42 yards total with a long of 31 yards. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Just like two guys, and then you had the two running backs, Wesley Graves, 14 attempts, 69 yards,
Yeah.
one touchdown himself. 40 yards was his long one.
Hmm.
And then Jalen Hicks, he had four attempts, 27 yards. His long was 22 yards.
Yeah, that's almost an 8 yard average,
Yeah,
7 yard average.
yeah, 6.8 yards. The other was 4.9. Um, you know, uh, I don't think we can just go down there and throw the helmet out there and expect to win, but
No.
we should be able to be bigger, stronger, faster, as they say,
Yeah.
and be able to kind of shut down try to make them as one dimensional as quickly as possible, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, try to shut that down. And uh, some people, you get on, and there were quite a few people who were kind of not as optimistic about the defense, like you were kind of saying with we have problems with our linebacking core again. I just think it was first game, I wouldn't say jitters, but kind of first game, you know, nuance of
Why does it still think they're filling each other out?
trying to figure out what's going on out there.
And again, I still am not really happy with the tackling in the defensive backfield.
Yeah.
The the linebacker who kind of just held on to, again, their running back, he made contact on the 7 yard line and let you really rode him in all the way into the end zone. And it was like, guy, I mean, you can't do that.
Well, yeah, and that was last week that we talked about. There was
Yeah.
one bad play. We got over that, or not one bad, but one bad series.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to clean up. For this team, we're going to have to clean up the tackling.
Hmm.
Some was pretty good. Like I want to say the linemen were pretty good at tackling. The linebackers actually tackled fairly well too. Some of the defensive backs, kind of tackle like defensive backs do.
Yeah.
They've kind of throwing shoulders into people and not really wrapping and tackling. But not all were bad. I think this defense is definitely better than it was last year.
Yeah.
The very small sample size that I got. But
Well, we did get a pick, even though it was, pretty much the last play of the game.
that iced it. That's what
Yeah.
you know.
But that's true. You could always have had somebody, continue the drive. So, overall, I was happy with it. I mean, 10 yards, or I mean, it's 10 points. You really can't complain too much about that. I mean, that's a decent night's work.
Right.
Now we just need our offense to do a little better.
Well, you want to start off with offense. Taven Jackson was named the starter for this game,
I think that's a good move.
which it appears, I guess, the quarterback from last week, the starter Cam Fancher, has he's still got, I guess, a bit of a back problem, along with some problems in his legs, like nerve, discomfort, shall we call it.
So probably it's best to keep him out.
I think they're thinking, let's keep him out and let's let Taven. The only problem with that is for Cam is if Taven has a successful game like he did last week,
Yes. Well, let's say he throws for 5 touchdowns this week.
he's your starter.
Yeah.
People are already trying to anoint him as the starter already.
Hmm.
I think it's time that you put a starter out there and you start getting him with number ones and you start practicing him. Because the schedule gets nothing harder but here.
Oh, yeah.
From here. And we got North Carolina, which I'm not
I
going
know
to.
watching them. I guess it was Monday night. I was not impressed.
Yeah, like you sent me that text saying that they were, turn them every which way but loose.
They really did.
TCU did, and it wasn't really even a game. It was
Well, if you watch the quarterback for TCU, he was never really hurried. He was never. I mean, he was able to check down to second, sometimes third receivers. Yeah, they Coach Belichick's got a mess there. He's got a lot to clean up.
Yeah, and if you sit there and you look back at the way he was I think he kind of knew it was a lot more of a sloppier team than what people were. I think that people thought since he's there, everything's going to work out, and I think
Hmm.
Bill kind of made the point because I'm going to tell him, I'm going to show him, but I'm not going out there and I'm not doing anything. They're going to have to do it, and
Yeah,
they didn't.
and that's really what it is. He's just the coach,
And there's your difference between like a pro coach and you know,
college coach.
yeah, in the professional tier, everybody's usually really good.
Hmm.
Everybody knows how to play, and there's not much of a talent difference of the 32 teams.
Yeah.
And in college, that's not the case.
Mm-mm.
You can go against a team that's going to have a lot more talent than you. Doesn't mean you won't win, but you're going to get caught up in that. And I think with North Carolina, which we're getting a little ahead of ourselves with that, there's not really much to talk about NC A&T other
No,
than they're a BCS team. They're coming in. I expect us to
it's a
be
payday
2 and
game.
0,
Yeah.
Saturday night, come midnight. And we talk about this on Sunday that we'll be talking about, you know, Taven Jackson
Yeah.
has found, a new favorite receiver or a couple of those receivers, and hopefully, some of these guys are really kind of showing. I was really happy with, some of the receivers play on last Thursday, and I hope that they kind of grow from that, come
Well, we
Saturday.
had young receivers get stats, and that's a good thing.
Right.
So again, that just shows they've got game experience now, and that's what you want.
Yep. And hopefully we can build on that, and come Saturday we don't have any kind of snafu. I mean, the one thing I think the only way that that this North Carolina A&T beats is if we beat ourselves. And I
Yeah,
want to
I don't see
believe
that even worst case
Scott will
scenario. I
have
don't
this
see that
team
happening.
prepared. Yeah, Scott will have this team prepared well enough to the point to where we don't sit there and play so sloppy like in special teams or on defense or offense that we end up losing the game.
Yeah,
And we'll have to wait and see. But I do have a feeling this is one of those games that's hopefully we should, if we don't score early and often, that we score often once we get going. You know,
yeah,
I don't know. The one takeaway I had also from the game is, those two touchdown plays. I'm not sure Scott wanted to show those, but I think Scott kind
no,
of starts looking of we got to win the game here.
yeah,
So then he starts pulling out of his sack, going, "Let's run, a tight end, screen here, that kind of hidden screen because all he did was kind of move everybody left. Tight end kind of sneaks out, sits there and finds a spot, throws it back to him. He's wide open, and then you had that other play which I'd seen Scott throw where spins around, kind of kind of a waggle play. Would you say that last
yeah,
time?
yeah.
And then hits the guy over the top. I don't know who scored that touchdown. Was that Dwayne? No, whoever it was. You know me. I'm horrible with names. I should be better, but I'm not. And you look at it as those are plays I'd seen before, in the first
Yeah.
frost. But I think he was kind of trying to stay as basic as he could, thinking he could win the game with just kind of a base package. And we had to kind of go into the bag a little deeper.
Hmm.
I hope we don't have to do that this week. I hope we can just run the ball,
Well, that's what I think we need to establish the run
Right.
this week. I think we definitely need to pass better. Get just. I hope we can at least have like a 2 minute drill. And really, no offense, but since it is a money game, I think we should beat them 49-0. Something. You
We
know.
should. Yeah. This is one of those games that we were going to have to kind of show that
And
we're
by the
putting
way,
it
Mark, his name
together.
was Dylan Wade. It's Dylan Wade.
That's the tight end. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the second touchdown, who that was to. But
Oh, that's DJ Black.
okay, DJ Black. Yeah. Good play. Both of them really good plays. And I know, oh, who was it? Miles Montgomery had a pretty good game, and we're going to need that out of him again. I don't think Scott's looking to use him as much as he did last game, you know. But the problem we had with that, I would say, is that one Cam Fancher hit where um, Jaden Nixon just missed the block, you know,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are, you know, like somebody referenced on this earlier. I want to say it was one of the guys from Sons of UCF or something was pretty funny. We're going, yeah, you didn't see much after that, did you? Like it was almost
No,
like
yeah.
Nixon screwed up and didn't play much. You know, I mean, Miles did. I mean, you got to have guys out there who are going to know how to pick up. But and I think that people are trying to blame Cam Fancher for kind of getting that, you know, that kind of freight train hit too. Is like, well, he's looking downfield. He's not looking directly in front of him. He's got, you know, head's cocked looking downfield,
Yeah.
and he's a lefty.
And you don't have as much peripheral vision too,
Yeah,
especially when
you
you got a
can't
helmet on.
expect that, you know, that he's picking that. You got to expect the, you know, the running back who's supposed to pick up the blitz to get that. And hopefully they get this worked out, you know,
Yeah. Well, they need to get that worked
because
out
I can
because if
tell
they
you right
don't,
now, North Carolina, who's coming up here in 2 weeks, are going to know these plays and know, you know, and so with Jaden Nixon in it, you're probably going to get a cornerback blitz or two just to see if we've corrected that. You know?
yeah,
And I
that's
could see
true.
North Carolina A&T. What do they have to lose? Just like you know, Jacksonville State had nothing to lose.
No.
North Carolina A&T could be say, hey, let's do corner blitzes and things like that as well because
Hmm.
you know I think Taven Jackson will pick that up a little better. Hopefully, you know, I thing is Cam has a lot of starts under his belt, to where you thought he would have been able to pick that up.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of people are saying he wasn't as good. I didn't think he was literally that bad. I would not feel uncomfortable if he went in. You know,
No.
I wouldn't. I think you know he does just fine. He was a little kind of off with some of his accuracy, but that's stuff that I think probably would have gotten better if he didn't get knocked out of the game. You know,
Hmm.
do we win with him in there? Yeah, I've heard a
I
lot of
don't
people
know
sit there and
that I
said,
don't.
you
Yeah,
know, that
because
they didn't think so, but you know, we'll never know at this point, right?
yeah. Again, I don't care how we got to the end result that we got. It's just we got there.
Yeah, I mean, Taven Jackson did win the game as quarterback, so that's why he's starting this week. Um, he had a very quiet 281 yards. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you start going, no, I
Two
mean, what?
touchdowns, no INTs.
Yeah, and then he had that one play to Miles Montgomery that gosh went 80 yards, if you remember, where he kind of rolled out
And
right, kind
that's
of
a
went
lot of
back.
stats right there. And you remember his last touchdown pass was over 30 yards too.
So that's where all
So you
those
got like
yards
100
started
yards of
coming
that
in.
really in two throws.
Right. But Taven's good on his feet as well, as we saw.
Hmm.
He's one of those guys that likes to kind of slide, which is what you want. You know,
Yeah.
a quarterback here that never slid and was always missing 4 to 5 games a season. You know,
Yeah.
good to see the quarterback slide now. And
But you got to think of, I mean, not to change the subject, but Montgomery, Miles Montgomery had a very quiet 79 yards.
right. Well,
Because other than that long pass, really, did he have a long run at all?
well, I think you know the thing about Miles is I don't think our offensive line was not as good as it needed to be. First
Yeah.
again, we've been saying that, but they're going to have to really kind of shore up some things, and I guess we're going to have to determine what kind of team we are as well. Because to me,
Well,
I think
if you look at the tape on that last one, before Taven Jackson threw that touchdown pass, we ran a it was almost like a delayed draw,
right.
and there were two offensive linemen, Mark, who missed their assignment. And again, these
Can't
are
have that. Yeah,
this is I mean, it's a G5 team, but
yeah.
you're going to miss your assignment against them. You're going to miss it against Kansas State too.
Yeah. Every team that we got left on the schedule is better. Not that Jacksonville State's not a good team, but
Yeah.
every team we got is probably going to be better. You know, Kansas
Hmm.
is doing real well. You've got you know, luckily we're
Kansas State, West
playing.
Virginia. You
Yeah,
get a lot of
Well, I didn't see West Virginia play yet, but Kansas has been taking care of business too. I think they're very quiet 2-0 right now.
Yeah.
And obviously Iowa State we don't have to play, but they're a quiet 2-0. I think K State had their hands full with was it North Dakota State?
Yeah, I guess was Kansas State are they the surprise this year? Because
Yeah,
they're
I don't
supposed to
know
be.
why you're playing a North Dakota State. You know
Well,
when
after you played Iowa State the week before, I could see wanting to get like a tune-up game.
I guess but you would think that you would know that North Dakota State's probably not a tune-up game.
Yeah, well, sometimes you need a little better than a controlled practice. And I think really going into this week's game, that's all we really got against North Carolina A&T. It's just a controlled practice
Right. No,
or a glorified controlled practice.
right. But hopefully we can instill our will and win comfortably and have a good show for everybody who shows up. I have a
We should
feeling.
we should get north of 35 points. If we don't, there's a lot more work we have to do.
Okay, I thought you were going to say we should get north of 35,000 fans. I'm like, well, I'm
Well, we
expecting.
should have a pretty full house.
Right. I think last week we had kind of some late attendees, and then it was a full house by the time the weather delay hit.
Yeah.
And then everybody kind of scattered. Everybody kind of hung around for about, I want to say 45 minutes to an hour, and then they just left.
And I think that's what it's going to make it more full this week is because you have a lot of people that were last week, Mark, that didn't get to see their first game.
Mm-hmm.
So I guarantee if you don't have, another 2 hour, 2.5 hour weather delay, you're going to have a full house.
Yeah, it should be a nice raucous crowd on
Yeah.
Saturday. And I'm looking forward to it. To where it should be a good time, and yeah, I consider us to get a second win, and then we're just looking for four.
Yes, ESPN 3, or I'm sorry, ESPN Plus
It'll be
TV
on
again.
ESPN Plus, yes.
So I guess that's the last time it'll be on ESPN Plus this year because I have a feeling you're going to get one of the better networks to pick it up when we go to North Carolina and probably throughout the rest of the season.
Well, they're talking North Carolina's gonna have to win this week. We're gonna have to win this week too, but they are looking at the big noon kickoff is looking to come to the Bounce House 2 Saturdays from now
See,
with North
us in North
Carolina here.
Carolina.
Yeah,
Huh.
so it'd be on
That
Fox,
would be nice.
but we got to basically kind of show that we're not good. I think the last time they came, it was against Colorado last year, and we were just a dud. Everything else worked out perfectly, other than we were never. And
Well,
we
that
were
was a
favored in
disaster.
the
What,
game.
48-21? I mean, what a
We were favored by 14 points in that game.
well, yeah, what a that was, and that really was. That's what got the ball rolling for the season. You know.
Yeah, the forgettable season last year. That's what started it. Was that, and then it just rolled in and got worse and worse.
Well, we're what 4-1 or 4-0 going into that one, and
3-0.
was that
We were 3-0,
was it 3-0? Okay, three. I'm sorry, 3-0.
and then we
But
lost
yeah,
5 straight. I want to say after that.
but it was just like we got beat like we were 0-3.
Right. Well,
And again, in front of our own crowd. And really, I think that's where the wheels came off with our former coach. It was like, wow, you had a week off, a week to prepare for this, 2 weeks, really. And this is the best you could put out there. So it was just,
yeah. Luckily, he's moved on. They had a
yeah,
big win, but I just find it funny with the national media. When someone kind of made a comment about Gus Malzahn and Tommy Castellanos and some of these other players that really had a good game, and it was like, well, UCF's different than Florida State. They're not as that much a national. It's like all those guys are on our team. They were
yeah,
all here. Okay, so yeah, we do have. I mean, I'm not saying we're the national, but we do have enough clout to get these guys to come here.
yeah,
They were all here. Castellanos was here.
yeah. We really told him to leave.
He was not ready to play, and basically kind of got impatient, which I don't think he would have done any worse than KJ Jefferson or any of the other players. You know,
Yeah,
plus it's always nice to see Bama lose anyway. So
yeah.
I think these Bama fans are finally starting to understand that it's over. You know,
Well, if you look at Alabama, Mark, no offense, they did. I mean, under the Saban years, there was a lot of things they did very well, and I didn't see anything last week that they did well. They did nothing well. So, you know, hey, Florida State fans, I'm happy for you. You had a decent game with Gus, but I guarantee you, long season, kids.
well, I'll finish this with talking about Gus, but I remember when we got Gus, he would win a big game like that, and all the Auburn fans would sit there and say, "Well, just look out because the next three he's probably going to lose." And what did he do?
Yeah.
He would lose the next three games, and then you forget all the goodwill for the one game you should have won, or you
Hmm.
lose four out of the next five, and it's like, you know, he 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 had a good win. It's a good
Yeah.
win that that Florida State had, but season ain't over, and
No.
you know we're a little too familiar with Gus Malzahn, so hopefully he keeps it going. But I do have a feeling they'll have a shocking loss, and it won't be that shocking
Yeah.
because they're not going to be able to play teams that sit there and think that all I got to do is throw the helmet out there and win a game. And like I said, the Nick Saban years are over, and he's not coming back. And these
I wouldn't doubt if Alabama
fans need
loses
to
four or
realize
five
it.
games this year.
They
They're
probably
7-5. And again, if they do something crazy like fire the coach,
right.
they could possibly go, 7-5, 6-6.
Well, who you firing and who you getting?
Well, that's it.
Travis DeBoer is not getting, he's not cheap, and then you're gonna have to get rid of him. And I'm sure they're going to owe him a lot of money
Yeah.
to where some of these Walmart T-shirt wearing fans of Alabama are all the ones who say we got to and they're always that's the kind
Yeah.
like, oh, we got to get rid of the guy, but they don't contribute anything. So, well, get off your wallet, buddy, and start paying for some of these years that we're gonna have to pay off to get him, and then oh yeah, kick some more in so we can go find a coach who you think that we can get. Because again, like I said before, Nick's not coming back.
No.
So deal with it. It happens. Everybody goes. The rocket ship ride always goes up. The problem with the rocket ship ride is when it gets up there high enough, sooner or later it's got to come back down.
Hmm.
And Alabama fans aren't used to seeing the rocket ship come back. I mean, it's happened to Alabama before.
Yeah.
Just it's been a while since the rocket ships come back down, and now they're all kind of freaked out about it.
Oh, yeah. But again, I've seen, it happen to Florida, Miami, Florida State. So trust me,
Yeah,
all good times do
I've seen
come
it
to an
happen at
end.
UCF, right?
Yes, we
I
had
mean,
our.
UCF was you go back a couple years, man, before Malzahn, man, it was a tough place to play.
Yeah.
Wasn't the biggest stadium, but it was a loud stadium, and it was a kind of a raucous stadium to where we did have a home field advantage, and then Gus killed that. He killed it.
Well, I also think Heupel helped.
No, Matt, by the time Gus left, anybody and everybody could come into our stadium and beat us. Not when
Yeah.
Heupel
Well,
was
that's
here. I mean,
he burned it down.
yeah, it's like, I'm not going to blame Heupel for the 2020 season. That was just such a mess. That
Well, you even go to 2019, Mark. I mean, he would have Cincinnati would come in and beat us in our own place. Tulsa,
we didn't play
and
Cincinnati in 19, and we didn't lose in 19 at home. We didn't.
I thought we lost to Tulsa.
Okay. No, or that was 20. That was 20. It was 19. It was
Well, all
Tulsa
right,
at Tulsa.
all
But
right.
we
Okay,
had it. We had like an undefeated streak up until 20, and it was just because But then not only Gus killed that streak even more, he just made it to the point to where it's nothing special coming into our place and beating us anymore.
yeah,
That's Gus Malzahn who did that, and Gus Malzahn. Good luck to him.
yeah,
He did us a favor by not making us pay him $12 million to go away.
that's true.
We'd been here this season, and we'd already been talking about God when is the 11th game here so we can fire his ass.
Hmm.
But he's gone. Good luck to him. Nice guy, all that. They spent a lot of money on their offensive line, you could tell,
Yeah.
and it looked pretty good. Defensive line looked pretty good too. So, I think to go back to our UCF podcast, UCF kind of got started a little late. I think I was listening to Terry Mahajer was talking about, Scott was showing up at 5:30 in the morning, leaving 11 o'clock at night, and he was interviewing kids in the portal, bring them in, and determine who to keep, who not to keep, and we'll see, right? I
Yeah.
mean, my trust is in Scott. I think the one thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start finding, like every football team does, is figure out what the bread and butter play is, the plays that we always get, you know, yardage or points off of. And as Mackenzie Milton says, you can sit there and run the same 5 plays as long as you switch up the way it starts out. They'll never know what the play is.
Yeah. And I was just looking up. You're right. It was a 2020 season where actually we had Tulsa and Cincinnati both come in and beat us.
Yeah. Well,
But
again,
again, I looked at Heupel and I think it was just getting worse. And so, but again, Gus continued that slide though. I think we need to get that back. We need to get back where the
just
bounce
killed
house
that
is.
slide. I mean, he actually just killed it. Again, we have no kind of reputation of having any kind of, you know, home field advantage at this point.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And Gus in the last 2 seasons has shown that Baylor came in and we were up 28 points on them. I mean, God, do we have to,
with one quarter.
yeah, and a complete collapse. And then you sit there and you just look at, like, I remember Utah came in here and that was, I'm just good riddance, good luck to them, take care. I'm going to say, let's stop talking about him. He's gone.
Yeah, I said good riddance. But I guess you got any more about Jackson, or sorry, about North Carolina A&T?
No, I mean, there's really nothing to talk about. Like I said, unfortunately, this is going to be probably the last week that we got really nothing to talk about the incoming team or the opponent that we play, because again, this is an FCS team that we should dominate from the get go, and I have a feeling we will. We just got to go out there and execute.
Well, we need a game like this, though. We need, after last week's game, and again, I'm glad we won, but
Yeah,
we do need a team that's kind of like a little more of a controlled scrimmage.
right.
That's what we need.
I mean, the funny thing is I'm looking at these night football notes that I, and last Thursday's game was our 300th win as a program.
Okay.
Um, Scott Frost now has won 14 games in a row
Yeah.
for UCF,
Yeah.
which is those are nice things.
He got his 20th win, right?
Yeah, DJ Black, from a D2 player that his team no longer exists down there that he left from, and
Oh, what
he
team
had
was
a
that?
touchdown. Oh, where did he come from?
Just a sec. DJ Black, yeah, that's something, huh?
Yes, Limestone is where he was at.
No,
Limestone.
they dropped the program, huh?
They dropped the program, and he found a home here, and he's a good player. I'm glad we have him. That was one thing that, like, I think you and I were talking about. I was a little worried about how our receivers were kind of going to be, and I think they're just fine. I mean,
Yeah.
for first game, there might be a little wonkiness here and there, but I think give it 3-4 weeks
They're
playing,
still feeling each other out.
they'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now, I plan on going to the game. Are you going, or are you gonna just watch on TV?
Still up in the air. Don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. You got a prediction?
Yes, I think UCF 45, North Carolina A&T, I'm gonna say 10.
45-10?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be a little more. I'm gonna say forgive me for this, but 24-10.
24-10?
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, like I said, is that, and again,
UCF, of course.
we need, we need multiple touchdowns. So,
Right. But I think if anything, if we can solidify who's the quarterback after this week, solidify some of the starters, things like that, guys that you can count on,
mhm.
we can be ready for the season, and then
Yeah,
hopefully a few things kind of go our way because, like I said, it doesn't get any easier after that. 2 weeks, it's North Carolina at home.
yeah,
You got K State on the road, Kansas at home. To where, gosh, we got like our first 5 games. They're at 4 at home, so we're gonna have a lot of road games here. At the end
yeah.
of the season, so
October, yeah.
we're gonna have to try to get to that 6 pretty quick.
Well, if you remember the 2016, we did get to that 6 win pretty early in the season.
Okay,
We were like 6-2, 6-3.
well, good, because we're gonna need to try to do that this time, or it could turn into a long year.
Yeah, let's hope that's not the case.
Right. Anything else?
I've got all I gotta say is, like I said, we've got this one. Then you say NC, UNC at home. Then we're on the road to Kansas. Then I'm sorry, Kansas State. Then Kansas comes to us. So
Right.
we gotta,
Then at Cincinnati, then Virginia at home, at Baylor, Houston at home, at Texas Tech, which is going to be a tough one, Oklahoma
well,
State at home, and then at BYU to end the season.
yeah,
And that ain't going to be any fun because it's going to be end of November, so it's going to be snowing.
in
And
Provo,
right, but
which that could be a rough one anyway. Which again, I don't like losing to BYU.
right, like
I look at them kind of, same kind of talent we had.
I was watching like 20 facts about what's his name, Napoleon Dynamite. And John Hader, I think, went to BYU.
Well, if you look at that movie, he's wearing a T-shirt that says Rick's College.
He didn't go to Rick's College.
I know that's a outreach, like an Idaho version of BYU.
He went to BYU, is what it said in the 20 facts you didn't know, or something like that. To where
Yeah,
it was just kind of funny to where the part of Idaho there and things like that. To where it's probably about 3.5 miles away from, or 3.5 hours away from
yeah.
the BYU campus,
Hmm.
which was kind of interesting, and it was just funny. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up.
All right, for Night Speed, I'm Matt Johnson.
It's Mark Johnson here. We'll talk to you guys
Talk to you guys
probably
probably Monday,
Sunday. Yeah,
Sunday, Monday, yeah, Sunday night,
Okay.
and we'll give you our take on what happened against North Carolina A&T
We're both
on
choosing
Saturday.
both in choosing a night victory, and we'll see. Right.
Yep, go
Feel good
Knights.
about it. Go night. Charge on.